Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Prize Picks video. In this one, we're talking about the NFL divisional rounds starting on January 20th. So in this video, we're going to have 5 picks for you guys to consider. So stay tuned in the video to hear all 5 of the picks. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, we didn't make a video for Friday for the NBA. Also, don't make videos on the weekend. So all the picks on the weekends are going to be in the private Discord here. We have 5+ cappers giving out their picks in the private Discord, and we've been absolutely hitting over there. We can see guys in the private Discord here hitting a bunch of slips and consistently ton of big hits over here. Scrolling up through all the hits to get back to last weekend so we can show you the hits from NFL last weekend. A ton here. You could see this guy in the Discord hit a bunch of NFL slips. So a ton of NFL, NBA hits going on over here in the Discord. It's less than $1 per day on the monthly plan. Definitely consider checking it out. Now for this video, we're going to get into the Saturday games. If you guys are watching this on Sunday, you can fast forward to this timestamp to see just the Sunday picks because obviously the Saturday games have passed. The first one we're going to go to is going to be Lamar Jackson on the rush yards over 51.5 versus Houston. Like this one for Lamar for a few reasons. Houston is pretty good against the run, but that's mostly against running backs. They're not as good versus quarterbacks, and I think Lamar is just going to have to run a lot more in this game. Also in this one, you could see the Ravens are 9.5-point favorites, but a low total, just 43.5. That basically implies that it's going to be about 27-17, and I actually think the Texans can keep it closer than this one. Lamar is going to have to use his legs a lot, and the running backs may struggle against a tough rushing defense in Houston. Also expected to be 20-mile-an-hour winds in this one, so I think they might just have to run more in this one. Checking out Lamar Jackson over here on Outlier, which does have a free 7-day trial. It's something I use every single day for player prop research. Definitely recommend checking out the trial. It's linked down below to get that trial. You can see over here what I was talking about. Houston, 6th ranked in rushing yards allowed, but against quarterbacks, they are 12th ranked. Lamar Jackson, I mean, if he just hit this in one more game, he would have been hitting this in 50%. A lot of games very close, 45 twice he hit here. And then, some games here where they won by like 30 points in this one, so didn't have to run a lot. Another blowout here game, 32-point game, didn't run that much. Same here, 28-3. So in a game that we expect to be closer, and I think it's going to be closer than 9.5-point spread, Lamar's going to have to run a good amount. So I expect a good amount of attempts for Lamar, back to where he was getting 9+ attempts on the ground compared to some of these other games we were looking at where he didn't have to run that much. I think it's going to be a big day running for Lamar, so that's going to be the first pick I'm going to go with. Over here, Lamar over 51.5. Also didn't mention that this one opened up at 54.5, so getting a bit of a deal here at 51.5. It might even go a little lower if you're waiting on this one, so keep that in mind as well. And these picks are posted in the private Discord along with 5+ other cappers, their picks for NFL and NBA over the weekend. So definitely check it out in there, and you can get on these exact lines I'm talking about. The next game, we got Niners, Packers, and going to Brock Purdy in this one, but I'm going against him as far as completions, 21.5, which is a really high completion number for Purdy. This spread is also 9.5. Expected to be a really nice day in the Bay Area and not too cold or windy. So for Purdy and the Niners, I think they do take care of business in this one by a good amount and kind of end that run that Jordan Love and the Packers have been on by a pretty good margin. And Purdy hasn't had to complete that many passes. He's just super efficient with his passes, and the Niners do run the ball a good amount as well. And Purdy, will do short completions that turn into big gains, so he doesn't have to really complete that many passes compared to other quarterbacks on the drive. So for Purdy going to the under, we can look at this one over on Outlier as well. Look at his pass completions. And for this one, they actually have it at 20.5 here. We're getting it at 21.5. So on the under, that is a bit of a discount compared to a lot of other sites. And we can see just 6 of 17 games, Purdy has hit this one over, but this is 20.5. we got to look at 21.5. So there's really 3 more games. So really 3 of 17 games this season, Purdy has hit this on the over. So very small percentage of times he's thrown for at least 22 completions or more. One stat over here for Green Bay, the passing attempts against is just the 5th least in the league. So they only have their opposing offenses throwing just under 31 passes per game as well. And Purdy just does not throw that much. You can see he averages 18 completions per game and only passes 26 times. I think we could see something very similar to that in this game. So for all those reasons, I'm liking Purdy here under the 21.5. And we're also getting that better deal over on Prize Picks here. All right, so now we're getting into the Sunday games here. For the first Sunday game pick, we're going to use OddsJam, a great tool that has a 7-day free trial as well, just like Outlier. And one of their top picks here is going to be Aiden Hutchinson over the 3.5 tackles plus assists. Basically how this works is they take Prize Picks lines, compare them to other sports books. You can see over here, Hot Streak has this at minus 158 to go over. Fliff has it at minus 155. A bunch of other sites are really liking it as well. So for all those reasons, it's a pick they like a lot. And we're going to lock that in for our first pick for Sunday. So going to the over here of 3.5. We can actually look at this one on Outlier that does have that free 7-day trial. Link down below if you want to check it out. The over 3.5 tackles on the season, he's only hit it in 8 of 18 games, but if he hit it in one more, he would have hit it in 50%. But in the last 5 games, he's hit this over in 4 of 5 games. The only one was against Detroit here, where he got 0 somehow. Not exactly sure what happened in that game. Maybe he left early, but 0 tackles is kind of crazy. But yeah, 4 of his 5 last games, he's hit this. You can see Tampa Bay numbers here, tackles against. They are 6th in the league, so don't give up a lot of tackles, which is kind of an interesting stat. But against D linemen, they give up the most tackles in the league and the 23rd most to defensive linemen for assists as well. So we're really liking this stat against Tampa Bay, specifically for D linemen. So Aiden Hutchinson, great spot, liking him. The OddsJam pick of the day as well. All right, and this game is the only game where we have 2 picks from this game. And the other one we're going to go to is Rachaad White. I think this is going to be a pretty good and close matchup the entire way. Going to Rachaad White here, who are slight underdogs, actually almost like a touchdown underdog. Rachaad White going to him over the receiving yards of 22.5. This is one he's consistently been hitting all year, especially when the games are closer. So going to Rachaad White here on the over. If we look at Rachaad White, over 22.5 on the season, he's hit this in 11 of 18 games. Also 1 game here, which is 22, so he missed it by 1 yard. Actually 2 games with 22, so he missed 2 of these by just 1 yard. But 22.5, still a great line. Hasn't hit it in his last 2. Obviously, they blew out Philadelphia. Didn't have to really throw the ball at all. Game before that was just really weird against Carolina here, 9-0. Again, they were kind of just running the clock out. But Detroit, 29th in the league in receiving yards allowed, which is a lot of receiving yards to go around. Thinking it's going to be a higher scoring game in this one, or Rachaad White. It's going to be needed like he did all season, where he hit this 61% of times. Really, he was almost 13 of 18. And this one did open at 22.5. It's been dropping between 21.5, 22.5. So you could get this one a little lower as well, but I still like it regardless for Rachaad White on the over of 22.5 here. So then for the last game, Bills and Chiefs. It's supposed to be a cold game, but not windy and not like super cold, like, around the teens and 20s. So thinking it's just going to be a standard game here, going to Kincaid, and I think we could see a good amount of offense in this one. So I'm liking Kincaid over on his, the receiving targets. I was debating between targets and receiving yards. I'm going to the targets for Kincaid over 5.5. I think it's a good spot for him. He's been getting used a ton as of late. So liking Kincaid, and really all season he's been getting used a lot. So they actually don't have targets over here on Outlier as a filter you can use, but you can come down and look at his targets and we just need 6 here. So in 17 games this year, he's hit this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 of 17 games, he's had at least 6 targets. His last 3 games, he's had 6, 7, and 8. So he's been getting used a lot more, like this one here for Kincaid. Obviously, Kansas City is a good defense, just ranked 4th in the league, giving up just 197 yards per game versus tight ends. They do give up a little more here, 9th in the league at almost 45 yards per game. But obviously, we're going to the targets. I think they're just going to continue to use Kincaid a good amount in this one. So liking him on the targets, I think that's better than the yards in my opinion. So going to him on the over of that. If you guys want more picks, we have 5+ cappers. I'm just one capper giving out picks here for the NFL and NBA, NHL, all sports over here. Less than $1 per day. Definitely check it out. A ton of people in the private Discord here have been hitting a bunch of slips and consistently. So definitely get over in the private Discord, see what all these picks are about and how all these people are consistently winning. We'll see you over there. Also, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in another video.